All right, students, if you like to go shopping, then you really need to know this lesson. We use it every day, all day long, in the real world. Lauren bought a jacket that was on sale for 60% off. She paid 40% of the original price of $75. How much did she pay? Now, here's something that everybody needs to understand. If it's 60% off, then you're going to pay for 40% pay. If it's 20% off, you're going to pay for 80%. If it's 10% off, you're going to pay for 90%. These two numbers have to always add up to be 100% of the whole thing. So, they gave you two percentages in this problem. They gave you how much off it was, and they gave you how much on it was. They gave you how much you were going to have to pay of this amount. Okay? So you got to be careful and answer the question that they ask you. How much did she pay for the jacket? So we have to work with the 40%, not the 60%. Okay? So, and I'll give you another example of this in a minute. We want to know what is 40% of $75. That is the question. What is 40% of $75? Now, I'm going to show you the easiest way I know, especially if you have a calculator. I'm going to show you the easiest way I know to do percents. And you're going to memorize this. P over 100 equals is over of. Now remember, this is a part and this is a total. This is a part, this is a total. P means percent. So if they give me the percent, I'm going to put that percent over 100. So in this case, they gave us 40%. So 40 over 100, P over 100, equals, did they give me the is or did they give me the of? Well, it clearly says of 75. So 75 is a total. It goes down here. So we're trying to find, let's do something else. Let's try to find C. We're trying to find the cost of the jacket. Okay? Now, every time you have a fraction equal to a fraction, you're going to find the two that are diagonal, an upper and a lower that has a number. You're going to multiply those two and you're going to divide by this one. So, we're going to take our calculators and we're going to clear them a couple of times. We're going to take 40 times 75, hit equals, and divide by 100. And I get 30. Now, C is equal to 30. That's $30. That's what the jacket is going to cost her. It used to cost $75. But because it's 40% off, it's going to cost her 30. 60% off. It's going to cost her 40% of what it originally did. So it's going to cost her $30 for this $75 coat. Okay? Now, let me give you another example of knowing which percent to use. I have asked your teachers to let you grade some papers in class. And when you grade your papers in class, you should be asked to calculate your grade. Calculating your grade and putting it in percent form. So let's say we graded a paper and there were 14 questions. 14 questions, and you got 8 of them correct. If you take 8 and divide it by 14, let's get it where you can see it. 8 divided by 14, and then multiply by 100, you get your grade, which was times 100, and that gives you 57. You made a 57% on that paper. Let's see why it's just a little over half. Because if this number up here was a 7, you'd be making a 50. When the top number is half the size of the bottom number, it's a half. And a half of 100 is 50. Okay, so you made a 57. Now, what if you counted up how many you missed, and you missed 6, and you did 6 out of 14? Wonder what 6 out of 14 is. 6 divided by 14 times 100 is a 43. We'll round it to 43%. Now, which grade had you rather have on your paper? Well, I'd rather have the higher one, and although it's not high enough. But this is how many you missed. So this is percent missed. That's not what you want to put in the grade book. This is the ones you got correct. So you want the correct percentage in the grade book. And let's do an even more exaggeration. Let's say that you got 12 out of 14 correct. Let me put that right here. Correct. 12 out of 14 times 100, let's see what that is, which means you only missed 2 out of 14. That's the ones you got wrong. Let's do those percentages. 12 divided by 14 is an 86. And 2 divided by 14 is a 14. So this is an 86%. This is a 14%. Which one of those do you want in the grade book, an 86 or a 14? So when you're grading papers, you need to calculate your percentage correct each time. How many did I get right? That's the grade I want in the grade book, not how many I got wrong. Okay, turn the page and let's go to page 374. Example number 1. The 4th, 5th, and 6th graders at Great Oak School are taking a field trip. Of the 575 students attending the field trip, how many are 6th graders? So I've got to look over here and find the 6th graders. That's 36%. So I want to know 36% of 575 total. 36% of 575. That's what I'm looking for. So let's see how they did it down here. In the first way, they used a double number line graph. They said, well, they're estimating right here. 36% is about 33 1/3, and 575 is about 600. And they know that 33 works well with 600. And so they're saying, okay, 1/3 would be 200, 2/3 would be, this is 2/3 right here, that would be 400, and 3/3 would be the 600. So, and we want how much? 36%? Well, here's 1/3, so it's about 36% of 575 is about 1/3 of 600, which is about 200 6th graders. Okay, there's their estimate. Look over here. Using the decimal form of a percent to find 36%. Decimal form of 36% is 0.36 because it's 36 divided by 100, which moves that decimal 2 places to the left. So we want to round that to 575. So when we multiply that, we get about 200. So 200 is a reasonable answer. Okay? We got lots to do today, so we're moving right on. Go to example number 2. Example number 2. I want you to see their examples, and I'm afraid you won't look at them if I don't go through them with you. Dwayne plans to wallpaper 72.5% of a 60 square foot wall. How many square feet of wall does Dwayne plan to wallpaper? Well, what did we do here? Are we estimating or are we finding it? We want to find the part. It says you can use a double number line graph to help write an equation to find the part in a percent problem. So the change this into a decimal by moving their decimal 2 places to the left. That's where they got 0.725. They used 60, so they said, okay, well, let's multiply this. We get that. So 43.5% of, so 43.5 is about 72.5% of 60. There's how they got their answer. Now, once again, we're going to go over P over 100 equals is over of. Let's see if we can find these things in this paragraph up here. Dwayne plans to wallpaper. Here's a percent, and here's a total. How many square feet of the wall does he need to wallpaper? So it looks like 75% and of 60. So of is down here, so my 60 is down here, and I'm trying to find this number that makes an equivalent fraction to this one. All right, once again, we're going to multiply these two. We're finding a part in this lesson, so we're going to always be finding this one right here. So we're going to clear our calculator a couple of times. Remember to always do that. And we're going to take 75 times 60 and divide by the 100. And I get 45. So N is 45. Question was, what's 72.5% of 60? It's 45. 45. Here was their estimate. Here is our answer. I'm going to tell you right now, you need to memorize this. You need to put it in your brain. It's very helpful. All you have to be able to do when you see a word problem is pick out the percent, pick out the is, pick out the of, get it in the right place, and do your cross multiplication. Example 3. Write an equation. What percent of 92 is 11.5? Okay, we're going to do it my way. Forget all this for a minute. What percent? So remember, P over 100 equals is over of. So what percent? So this is what I don't know. It's the P that I don't know. So I'm going to leave P over 100, and then I want to find the is. It says of 92, so the 92's got to go down here. Is 11.5, so the 11.5 has to go right there. Now, if we do what we did a while ago, we're going to multiply the two that are diagonal and divide by the odd man out. Okay, so here we go. Let me get this where you can see it. Clear your calculator a couple of times. We're going to multiply 100 times 11.5 equals and divide by 92. And I get 12.5. So P is 12.5. Since we were finding a percent, we put a percent sign on that because we found percent. This is built with the percent in it. So when you're done, your answer is in percent. Let's do another one of these. Here's what we don't know. It's the P we don't know. We know the of, and we know the is. So P over 100 equals is over of. P over 100 equals is over of. So we're multiplying these two and dividing by that one. With your calculators, you do it. Clear your calculators a couple of times. Tell me what you get. Okay, so you got 60. Very good. And that's 60%. When you're finding P, you put percent on your answer. All right, let's go to page 376. I'm hoping that this is making it very easy for you. Okay, so on this page, this is the way we're going to do it. P over 100 equals is over of. If you can find the percent that you're going to use, if you can find the is and you can find the of, and put the P here, the is here, the of here, you got it. Okay? All right. Today, Hold on one second. Okay, let's look at number 1. How can you find percents? Guess what we're going to put? P over 100 equals is over of. That's what we're going to use. Number 2, describe the equation you use to find the unknown part in a percent problem. The part is equal to the percent times the whole. Remember the cross product? Equal to the percent times the whole. The part is equal to the percent times the whole. Let's show them that right here. If we're trying to find this part right here, the percent times the whole, see that? And divide by 100. The part is equal to the percent times the whole and divide by 100. That's the question that they're asking right there. Number 3, describe the equation you use to find the percent value in a problem. So the percent is equal to let's see, let me get the right question. Describe the equation you use to find the percent value. So if we're trying to find this one, we're going to multiply the part times 100. We're trying to find this one. So we're going to multiply these two and divide by the total. So the percent is equal to the part times 100 and divide by the whole. So once again, P over 100 equals is over of. When we're trying to find this one, we're going to multiply these two, the part times 100, and then we're going to divide by this total over here. We're just saying how this works right here. Number 4, in the expression 34% of 60, what operation does the word of mean? Of means to multiply. Of means multiplication. Okay, number 5. How can you use a calculator to find what percent, so I want to find the what percent of 180, so the 180 is down here in the of, is 108. So how can you use a calculator? What would you do with the calculator? Well, you would multiply 108 times 100 and divide by 180. So that's what we're going to say. We're going to multiply 108 times 100 and divide by 180. We're going to multiply 108 times 100 and divide by 180. So basically, class, what I'm telling you is this. When we do percents from here on out, we are going to use P over 100 equals is over of. It's the easiest way to work percent problems. The only trick is you got to make sure you're working with the correct percentage. All right, let's go to number 6. What is 26% of 50? So I have the percent, I have the of, I do not have the is. So I'm going to put this right up here. P over 100 equals is over of. The P is 26. So 26 over 100 equals is, I don't know what it is, I'm going to call it X. It's what I don't know. And the of is 50. Pick up your calculators, multiply these two, divide by this one, and you have an answer. Do it yourself. Teachers, make sure they got the answer of 13. This one is set up the same way as that one, so I'm not going to do that for you. I'm going to go do one of these two before we find a percent. Number 8. I'm doing number 8. We're looking for the percent. We're looking for the P. We have the of and we have the is. So P over 100 equals is 126 over the of 315. So I'm going to pick up my calculator and multiply these two that are diagonal and divide by 315. You should be doing it at the same time that I'm doing it. And I got an answer of 40. And since it was a P I was finding, you put a percent sign on that because we just found 40%. Okay, number 9 is done the same way. I'm not doing it for you. I'm going to go to number 10. An electronics company has 450 employees. That sounds like a total, doesn't it? Like an of. The company plans to increase its staff by 30%. How many new employees will the company hire? So we need to know what 30% of this number is. So let's write that sentence. What is 30% of 450? Now I'm trying to find an is. I've got a percent and I've got an of. So 30 over 100 equals is, let's call it employees. Let's call it E out of 450. All right, so we're going to be multiplying these two and dividing by 100. I get employees would be 135. So if they're going to increase their staff by 30%, they're going to hire this many more employees. Okay, so you have number 7 to do, you have number 9 to do, and then you have number 11 to do on this page. On the next page, you have 12 through 22 to do. And I'm going to leave you to do that by yourself. Now, get your vocabulary page. We're going to see if we can find our percents, our wholes, and our parts in each one of these because we want to be able to do P over 100 equals is over of. Write that at the top of your page. So, notice there's no is in problem number 1. It says find 6% of 48. Could that be changed to what is 6% of 48? Of course it could. So it's the is we're looking for. So what's the known, the unknown, and the equation? Okay, we may want to change the words here on this. The known is the percent. Which is a whole. And like I said, we may need to change the words on here. And the unknown is the part, because we said we could change that to an is. So this is an is. And the equation we're going to use this one right here, and we're going to put our stuff in there. We're going to put this. This is an equation. Anything that's got an equal sign, it's an equation. Okay, so on this one right here, we know the P, so we know 6%, 6 over 100, equals, is what we don't know, so we'll call that X, and it's going to be over a total of which is 48. Okay, so the known here was our percent, the unknown was the is, and here is our equation right here. And is always a part. All right, let's go to number 2. Do the same thing. 20 is, so here's my is, I'm going to circle my is, here's my percent, and of is what we don't know. So it's going to be where my variable is. So the known is the is, it's 20. The unknown is a total, it's the of, I should have put of first. The equation is 25%, so 25 over 100 equals is, which is 20, over of, which is what I don't know, and we're just going to use X as a variable each time. Okay, and you don't even have to work these out. I just want to see the equation and see if you get the variable in the right place. Number 3, what percent, so this is what we don't know, here's my of and here's my is. So known, we know the of, we know a total, which is an of. The unknown is the percent. The equation, we know an of and an is, actually. We know this and this. The unknown is the percent. The equation is P over 100 equals is, which is 15, over of, which is 150. What I'm most concerned about on this piece of paper is, can you set up P over 100 equals is over of, P over 100 equals is over of, P over 100 equals is over of. That's what I'm not concerned about these other blanks over here. So 75 is, looks like we're looking for the P, and of is the total. So known, we know the is and the of. Unknown is the P. So P over 100 equals is 75 over of 300. There's what I want to see. Is it getting easier? P over 100 equals is over of. Number 5, 40% of Sam's collection of 64 cars is new. How many are new? So we have a percent of his 64 cars. We have an of is new. We don't know the new. So known, we know the P, and we know the of. Unknown is the is. Okay, equation 40%, 40 over 100 equals is, which we don't know, over of, which we do know is 64. Sorry. If we punch that in our calculator, we would know how many new cars he had. And the last one, 90 out of 120 liked pizza. 90 out of, so here's an of, here's an is, and we're trying to find a percent. So known is the is and the of. Unknown is the P. So P over 100 equals is 90 over total 120. P over 100 equals is over of. Okay, we're going to stop right there. Or I'm going to stop right there. You're not. And we have worked on P over 100 equals is over of today. You have 7, 9, and 11 on the do you know. You have 12 through 22 on the practice and problem solving to do. And you need plenty of time to get busy doing this. And you need to memorize P over 100 equals is over of. And I will see you next time.